Since the days of the Spanish missions, Texas has always had beef to spare. By the time Texas joined the United States in the 1840s, there were plenty of hungry Americans in the East, around the Great Lakes, and among the growing number of miners in California and the West. Texas ranchers just needed to find a cheap way to get the cattle to the consumers. In the years prior to the Civil War, many ranchers trailed their herds east across Louisiana by the thousands. One route meant waiting for cattle barges to ferry them across the Atchafalaya Swamp to another boat that would take them up the Mississippi River. A lower number of cattlemen sent their livestock to New Orleans by steamships out of Galveston or Indianola, but it was tough on both the cattle and the ranchers' wallets. Small numbers of cattle trailed north to Illinois, Kansas, or Missouri, but fear of disease caused by ticks made those states, plus several others, close their borders to Texas cows. By the end of the Civil War, there were a few million cattle in Texas. They were worth $2 a head at home, but more than 10 times that in the north. Charles Goodnight and Oliver Loving started a trail to New Mexico and Colorado, but most Americans lived far east of there. A solution was desperately needed. In 1867, ranchers once again began walking their livestock due north. Their path became the most famous of all the Texas cattle drives, the Chisholm Trail. The Longhorn herds came from ranches across South Texas, from along the Rio Grande, Nueces, Guadalupe, and Colorado rivers. Coming together before Waco, they continued to Fort Worth and then across the Red River and through Indian Territory. They were headed to Abilene, Kansas, where an Illinois businessman named Joseph McCoy built pens to hold cows by the thousands. From there, the Kansas Pacific Railroad took them to market. At first, many ranchers personally trailed their livestock north, but soon the job of contract drover was born. They were trail bosses who charged ranchers by the head to take their cattle to market. They in turn hired cowboys, a cook, and horse wranglers. The cowboys were a diverse lot. Under colonial Spain, the first Texas cowboys were indigenous Indians taught by Franciscan priests. For generations, Tejanos managed the cattle, and the vaqueros ruled the open range. Americans brought enslaved labor to Texas, and those men accounted for many early cowboys. Most of the cowboys on the Chisholm Trail were literally that, boys in their teens. Often as few as 10 of the young cowboys could move as many as 3,000 head of cattle halfway across the country for less than 75 cents per cow. Their pay was less than $40 a month. Even as Texas railroads connected to the north, the cost of walking cattle was much cheaper, but the days of the cross-country cattle trail were numbered. With more settlement came barbed wire fences. No one wanted their land torn up by thousands of heavy cattle. That was followed by renewed quarantines. By 1885, the Chisholm Trail had come to an end. But during its short, glorious life, more than 5 million cattle and 1 million wild Mustangs walked its path. The greatest trailing of livestock in world history. Today, Texas raises more cattle than ever. More than 11 million head live within our borders, almost twice as many as the second-place state. Beef cattle are still the top agricultural commodity in Texas. Today, herding is likely to be done with a pickup and ATVs, but the world's enduring picture of Texas cattle, the subject of myth, movie, and literature, is that of a small band of mounted cowboys, enduring hardships to move thousands of longhorns up the Chisholm Trail.